Well, good morning, everybody. Tori here from Overlook Horizon. It is an exciting day. Oh, I'm so excited. This is going to be the craziest thing ever, and I really hope this happens today. But welcome to launch day, or launch attempt day, for Starship flight test number 5, integrated flight test number 5. This is obviously the 5th test of the entire Starship ecosystem here, the full stack, the booster, the ship on top. We've launched this a couple of times. Like I'm involved. We've launched it a couple times. We saw a whole lot of excitement during flight 4 with some burn through on the flaps. We'll get into everything we've seen in the past. But today, the big news of the day, the really, really excited part is that the booster catch, right? So they've talked about this forever. We've seen so many animations about it. We've seen them build up the launch tower. But for those that don't know, and I don't know, maybe you don't know, but Starship and the Super Heavy booster will launch. The booster, just like Falcon 9, will separate. The idea is for it to turn around, come back to the launch site, just kind of like Falcon 9 does. However, the booster has no landing legs. There are no landing legs on this booster. The premise basically is like this thing is huge. Landing legs would need to be huge. They're heavy. You need hydraulics. It increases the turnaround time. You have like honeycomb crush cores in the Falcon 9 landing legs that have to get replaced or refurbished, and like all that takes time. And so the Super Heavy booster, they want to fly it rapidly. They want to fly it within a couple hours after landing. So they want it to just touch down at the pad where they can just put another Starship on top and refuel it. So no landing legs on the booster. And the idea is this thing's going to come down. I wish I don't have a booster model. I have my where is it? This side? This side. My Starship model back there. Maybe we'll break that out at some point. But the idea is this thing is going to come down and the launch tower has all the landing hardware. So the booster itself, they don't have landing legs on it. It's too heavy. Why carry those up and back down just for landing? So the launch tower has these two big chopsticks that stick out. And as the booster comes down, they're going to try to precisely target right in between those and close those up and catch it. Wild. It's craziness. Oh, I'm so excited to see this happen. I really want this to happen today. So anyways, that's the plan. That's the big news. And then obviously the Starship itself, that's still exciting too. Even if we don't have a booster catch today, we'll talk about a little bit about like what the parameters are, how we know we're going to catch it, things like that. But the Starship itself, the upper stage, is going to go into orbit, try to do a reentry, maybe a little less flamey this time, and successfully touch down. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's say hello to everybody. Oh, I should also put up our timer here. So here's our launch timer. We are 43 minutes to the opening of the window. It's a 30-minute launch window today, so not super long. But yeah, we're 43 minutes away from the opening of the window. Window opens at 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And this is basically the rough idea of the order of events. I didn't really proofread this since the last time, so hopefully it's still accurate, but I think it still is. So let's check in with everybody. We'll say hello, and then we'll get into some details here and check and see what's going on. Darren Henley over on the Facebook says, wild. I know, I'm pumped for this. Let's see. Oh, I lost a bunch of my comments because I had to log in mid start of the stream. Let me go back to a couple of the ones that I lost from the beginning. See, whole bunch of our regulars here this morning. Of course, our amazing moderator, Anita, checking in with us this morning. Framrick as well, another one of our amazing moderators. Fairground says, let's go. Carol wants to know if I got my coffee. I have my energy drink this morning. I've switched off of coffee just for a little while. I'm sure I'll go back to it at some point, but let's see. Bert Cowart says, hello, Lobster Nation. Carol's excited for 48 minutes at the beginning of the launch window. Our time wasters awake with us. Let's see. Andicon Max says, let's get some poll. You know what I could do? I always forget about this. I could put these on the screen. I always forget that I can do this. One moment, and then I'll put these on the screen. I just have to, every time I do this, there's just a, I have to update it to the correct, the new URL for our new live stream. And then, once I do that, then I think I can do this. Yeah, and then it comes up. Marcus, greetings from Austria. Greetings, Marcus. Welcome. There, and then also I know which ones I've done. Peaks and Pokes says that's a short window. Yeah, pretty short window today. Just 30 minutes. I'm not sure why it's just a 30-minute window. I think the last launch was a 2-hour window, but this is just a 30-minute window today. It could be. So one of the things to keep in mind, because so there's a lot of drama here with the FAA approval and regulatory approval. Like every time SpaceX posts, it's always pending regulatory approval. Like that's always kind of the joke. I mean, it's like actual, but it's also, they joke about it because they're mad about it, which I don't know. I don't really blame them. Like it seems like we need to speed this process up. Like it just takes way too long. But anyways, one of the issues with regulatory approval this time around is because the booster is coming back to the launch site. Now we've got sonic booms to worry about. Environmental considerations for the sonic booms as it comes back. And the booster is big. It's gonna, sonic boom gonna be big. So yeah, they might, I suspect, I don't know this for sure, but I suspect that the 30-minute window is more of like a maybe so that the general population in the area doesn't have to be concerned about sonic booms for like 2 hours. I don't know. I'm not sure why it's such a shorter window, but I suspect it has something to do with that. Maybe somebody in the comments knows, but it is a consideration. There was the FAA published, let's see if I still have it up, a sonic boom map. Somebody posted it on Twitter for me. Let me see, or X, whatever it's called. Oh, it's my friend, is Marcus House posted it. I was looking at it here. Here we go. We'll let's go over to this mode. There we go. And you can see our sonic boom map here. This is, so you could kind of see the rings. Marcus posted this on X and kind of jokingly was like, what is this scale that's on the side? Like, what the are they, like, what the legend that's on the right hand side? What is this sorted by? It's in a weird order, but anyways, you can see the rings of the sonic boom here for Flight 5. Be kind of interesting to see. I'm interested to see all the people that are there in person. I'd love to be there in person. I am not there in person, but it's gonna be interesting to see and hear what that's like for the people that are nearby, maybe in like South Padre Island. That'll be kind of cool. So yeah, sonic booms happening this morning. I guess while we have this up too. Oops, what did I just do? I just hid somebody from the channel on accident. Who did I just hide? I just hid somebody. How do I undo that? Oh no, moderators, fix my mistake. Can you fix that, or do I have to fix that? Somebody just got banned from the channel on accident. I was totally an accident. Oh no. Oh, that's terrible. How do I do? Hold on, people. I need to unban this person. I'm so sorry. It highlighted on my screen. It was like I clicked the wrong button. I'm sorry. Hold on. I don't know if I know how to do this. Do any of my moderators know how to fix this? Oh no. I think you might have to fix it. Oh, no. All right. Hold on. Hold on. I feel really bad so that I accidentally banned this person. I need to figure out how to unban them. Where do I go to fix this? It's the problem with being a one-man operation here. Let's see if we go into here and then we go, I think I go into this area and then, oh, there it is. Banned users. Wow, there's a lot of y'all. So there he is. Okay, unbanned, fixed, problem solved. There we go. All right, it was Emmy Nazwisco. I accidentally banned you. I did not mean to. Well, welcome back. I did not mean to ban you from the channel. Okay, let's carry on. I was trying to just clear the comment off my screen and I got a little bit too click happy here. Whoo! Okay. It's like random Elvis says, everybody be careful. He's loose with the keyboard. Yeah. Be careful what you say. You might get banned either on purpose or on accident. All right. All fixed now. All right, so let's get the train back on the tracks here. So let's see. We'll give you an idea of what's going to happen here today. So we're 34 minutes away from. There you go. Emmy says no asking questions here. I'm sorry, Emmy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ban you. So here's the timeline here for today. It gives you an idea. A countdown. So we should already be into the countdown. We don't really have any confirmation yet that I've seen. Just checking to see if there's any sort of confirmation. Oh, there you go. 4 minutes ago, Starship team is go for propellant loading, and weather is looking ideal for today's flight test. The launch webcast will go live 35 minutes ahead of liftoff, which is now targeted for 7:25 a.m. Central Time. Okay, so let's update our timeline. So we got a little update there from SpaceX just a couple of minutes ago. So now they just gave the go for propellant loading. So now we are about an hour away from launch. We're 58 minutes away. So they just did that. They must have just done that fueling poll. It is a little bit interesting because now they're pretty much targeting the end of the window, which could mean if something goes, if there's any sort of issue during the countdown, like they really only have about 5 minutes to solve any issues during the countdown. They only got about 5 minutes of buffer time. So could lead to a scrub with this shorter window. Again, not sure why it's such a short window today. I suspect maybe it has something to do with the landing or the fact that it's coming back, sonic booms, things like that. But so there we go. But we did get an update now, 7:25 Central. 57 minutes from now is when they are targeting the launch attempt here. So we get that the countdown starts hour and 15 minutes prior with the flight director for polling for go no go on propellant loading. We just got the go for propellant loading. So they start fueling Starship fuel, the liquid methane. This is a methalox engine, remember? So we have liquid oxygen and liquid methane powering Starship. That loading starts. Then we get fueling into the booster as well. That'll start. So it fills pretty quickly, right? So it's about 40 minutes prior is when the booster is... the booster starts filling only 40 minutes prior to launch, and that thing's huge, so they load it up pretty quickly. So then we have engine chill. We cool down all the engines to get them ready for launch so we don't shock the system with those super cold propellants. Then we'll get a go no go for launch about 30 seconds prior. We get our flame deflector activated so we don't blow up the concrete pad like we did on the first launch. And then we get excitement guaranteed at 0. Here's an idea of the flight test timeline here. We've got our launch, the ascent, we get hot staging. Starship will continue on, go into a coast phase. It'll do its re-entry, and then hopefully a nice soft a landing burn, a soft splashdown in the ocean. And meanwhile, booster going to do a flip maneuver, a boost back burn towards the launch site. Now that boost back burn, so for safety reasons, the booster needs to receive a manual command from the ground before the end of the boost back burn to give the booster the go, no go for the catch attempt. So by default, the booster will land in the ocean unless after launch and prior to the end of the boost back burn, it receives a manual command from the ground to say you are go for the catch attempt. So that's a little bit of a safety factor there. They got to give it the thumbs up to give it a shot, and that has to. The ship needs to be go, the engines need to be go, and the launch tower, the hardware of the actual catch attempt, everything needs to be go as well. As long as everything's good, they send the manual command and they say, send it, yeet it, let's try it. Let's see what's gonna happen. So timeline, actually, I didn't even think about this. I didn't put the booster landing part in my timeline, but we can add that here as we get a little bit closer. But we get liftoff, we get max Q, we get the separation, the boost back burn, hot stage. There's a hot stage ring between the booster and the Starship. They are still jettisoning the hot stage ring, so they will separate that from the booster. Super Heavy coming back, supersonic. Landing burn will start about 6.5 minutes prior to touchdown. And then depending on whether they give it the command or not, 6:50 would be a splashdown if there's no catch attempt. 6 minutes and 56 seconds would be landing burn shutdown and catch attempt if they go for it. Then we get Starship about 8.5 minutes. We'll get engine cutoff. That's when it'll be in orbit. Then 48 minutes later is when we get the re-entry back into the atmosphere. Hopefully with Starlink live streaming, we will see the entire re-entry again like we did on Flight 4. A little less flamey this time, hopefully. And then about an hour and 5 minutes after launch is when we should expect a soft touchdown in the ocean. So that's our plan for today. That's what we've got going on. And then we'll just give you a look here for our map from Declan at flightclub.io, just to give you an idea of like where we're talking, where we're going. All right, so we're launching from Boca Chica, Texas here, way down on the southern border. You can see Starbase, Texas right here. Now we got a couple different lines on our map here. So we see launch, we see booster separation. Booster separation will happen. We get the flip around, the boost back burn. It's going to come back and land back at the launch site here, hopefully. Maybe in the ocean. We'll see. Starship, meanwhile, will continue on this east-southeast type track here, missing Florida, missing Cuba, kind of heading, threading the needle here to stay away from most of population. And it'll continue on across the ocean here, all the way to near northwest Australia. I mean, it's not really that near. It's pretty far out there. It's not like you're going to take you're not taking your leisure craft out there to go see it. But out in the middle of the ocean here, we should get a nice soft splashdown. So that gives you an idea of where we're talking for all the activities here today. So we'll expect SpaceX to go live here in about, another 30 minutes or so. And we'll chat it up for a bit in the meantime. Also, did you guys see I don't know. I gotta come back and grab some of the comments here again. But did you guys see this? Oh, shit. Did you guys see this Starship the game that SpaceX published? I don't know if anybody saw this, but they have Starship the game published on the SpaceX website. It's starshipthegame.spacex.com, and it looks like an old like Space Invaders type game here, which is kind of crazy because you've got like I don't know. I love that Star Hopper is down here in the bottom left hand corner just for good measure. Then we got the tower and Starship here, and you can launch it. Away it goes. And then it flips around and comes back, and then you kind of have to like Space Invader it here, avoid all the other vehicle. Wait, go back, come back. Catch it. Oh, perfect success. That's exactly how that's supposed to go. So, yeah, I mean, it's a silly little, it takes like 2 seconds to play. But yeah, Starship the game. Then you get, if you get like zapped if you accidentally hit any of these things. I don't know what happened. UFOs. There's all kinds of stuff. Or am I supposed to hit these? I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to hit these. I don't know. It doesn't seem like I'm supposed to. My high score is going down. And then you have to like softly touch down. I don't know. I'm not sure. You caught the booster. 8-bit frenzy. Hit them for fuel. Oh, is that what happens? My fuel goes up. Uh-oh. Wait, why did that? What the? How come I didn't launch very far? Oh, you ran out of fuel or forgot that you had it. Maybe it yeah, I don't know what's happening here. I feel like I have no idea. I don't know whether I'm supposed to hit these things or not hit these things. I suppose there's a menu button up there. Oh, there's some stars I could hit. These like yellow stars. That seems like it does something good. I feel like maybe the yellow stars I'm supposed to hit, but the others maybe not. I don't know. I like KDB says, so what I'm seeing is that Tori is better at the old school style SpaceX game than Kerbal. Yeah, maybe. That might be possible. So yeah, try it out while we're waiting for launch. In the meantime, we'll switch back and come check things out over here. So we should have... Where did my other window go? Oh, there it is. So hopefully we'll have a successful launch here now. Now targeting 7:25 a.m. Central Time. Let's go back. We'll grab... Let me sit back here and relax for a minute. Let's read a couple of comments and see what's up with everybody. What does everybody think, by the way? Do we think that it actually will do the catch attempt today? I mean, I know obviously nobody has any idea, but do you guys think that we'll actually get a catch attempt? I mean, I guess the question is, do you think we'll get a catch attempt? And if we do you think it will actually catch it? Or are we going to have a big kaboom? Our awesome moderator, Red Scorpion, says, I think they're just going to yeet it for the likes. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I kind of wonder if they'll just yeet it in spite of the FAA. Tracy says yes on the catch attempt, no on the successfulness of it. That but that kind of seems very plausible to me as well. I don't know. I would be shocked if they actually catch this thing on the first try. That would be nuts. Let's see. We got a super chat from Andicon Max. Message from New Shepard. Where did everybody go? Yeah, so New Shepard is launching today as well. I suspect, I don't know, maybe people will be watching New Shepard, but I suspect people are going to be tuning in a little bit to Starship. I don't know. Maybe some people will pick New Shepard over Starship, but yeah, they're both basically launching at 8:30 this morning. And yeah, one is most powerful rocket in the world and performing a unprecedented booster catch that has never before been attempted and will be crazy and wild with a crazy sonic boom and an insane sight to see. And the other one's going suborbital. So we just have to choose which one you're going to watch. Let's see. Paul says, thank you very much, Andicon Max, for the super chat. Thank you, Paul, for the super chat. Paul says, Tori, what's your prediction for the catch attempt? My prediction is that they will attempt it. I think they will be go for the catch attempt on the first try. I don't think it will be 100% successful on the catch attempt on the first try. I think it'll be a real good try, but I think something will go wrong. It'll either blow up. I don't think it'll blow up the entire path. Like, I don't think it'll be like catastrophic. I feel like it'll come back under control and be relatively close, but the actual catch itself won't go perfect, and either, I don't know, a grid fin will break off or like something will touch the launch tower. Like, I think things will be mostly intact, but like maybe some things might be bent and broken. I don't know. It might. I think there's a high probability that we'll see a boom boom, like Red Scorpion says. You know, I think it'll be very close, and we'll be like, oh, it's gonna do it, and then, you know, something will happen at the very end, and it won't. I don't know. This is just what I'm thinking. A friend Adam Bell says, if a catch attempt is initiated, can it abort during the landing burn? Once you get into landing burn territory, like landing burn, you're pretty much over the top of the launch site when the landing burn starts. So if we make it that far, you're pretty much committed. Because it's got to make the decision to head for the launch pad or not by the end of the boost back burn. And so pretty much after that commitment, you're coming back. You're coming back to the launch pad one way or another. Carol says, I think the booster will flip off the chopsticks. Michael G, fiery, but mostly successful. That's kind of what I'm thinking as well. I think we might see some flames, but I think it's going to be pretty good. Well, Red Scorpion's taking bets. He's got $100 that it scrubs today. I don't know. At this point, we've got propellant loading underway, so usually things look pretty good once they start propellant loading. Frederick says there's going to be a catch attempt in a fireball. Could be possible. So Chris says Flight 4 landed within 1 centimeter of its target. I did see that. I saw this in this video, this interview, and they did say that the Flight 4 booster. So Flight 4, the booster did a soft water landing in the ocean, and when they did, a lot of people didn't realize this, but when they did that soft water landing, like they had a very specific target that they were trying to hit in the water. They weren't just like, we'll just land it in the water. Like they had a very specific target they were trying to hit. Now, there was an interview. I can't even remember who gave the interview. But they said that Flight 4 booster landed within 1 centimeter of accuracy. I don't know. Maybe that's accurate. I'm just slightly doubtful that like maybe that like he misspoke and he meant to say like within 1 meter of accuracy, like 1 centimeter of accuracy. That is what he said. Like that is an accurate quote. He did say that they landed within what? He said 1 centimeter of accuracy. I just feel like he misspoke. Like 1 centimeter of accuracy is crazy. And I don't even like I don't know. Do we really have the accuracy? Yeah, there it was. It's Bill Gerstenmaier. He's a VP for build and flight reliability from SpaceX. So yeah, Bill Gerstenmaier said within 1 centimeter of accuracy. Like that just seems wild. I think I've said wild. That's going to be the overused term of the day. Wild. That seems 1 centimeter of accuracy. I feel like he must have misspoke and he must have meant something else, but that is what he said. I would love to see somebody ask him again and just be like, did you mean to say 1 centimeter? Is that really what you meant? Because if that's true, that's crazy. Somebody. Oh, that's not. You sent me a link. I thought this was about something else. That's about Crew Dragon. Red Scorpion sent over a link, an update on Crew Dragon. Will not be doing the. Will not separate and depart the ISS today. We had that update from SpaceX a little while ago. Let's see. Mike said, hi, Tori. Nice to watch stream again. Why do they have a 30-minute time window? Greetings from the Netherlands. So I don't exactly know why the 30-minute launch window is so much shorter this time around. I suspect that it's because of the booster landing attempt, and particularly surrounding like sonic booms, because that's a new factor here that we haven't had before. That's really the only thing new. The last launch attempt had a 2-hour window. Really the only change on this flight from previous launch licenses is the catch attempt. And so it's got to be centered around that catch attempt, or at least that's what I seem to think. You know, maybe it's about the booster landing and the sonic booms that are in the area. I mean, if you're a resident in that area, remember that those sonic booms, if we take a look at the sonic boom map here, those sonic booms, they go pretty far, right? So you can see that the sonic booms are like way out. There's a lot of people that live in these areas. So, I mean, it dissipates as you get further out in this ring here. But even like, I have no idea what the legend even means. Like this legend up here with these numbers. It's like, I have no idea what this scale is. I have no idea I can't figure out what order this is. I think it's in alphabetical order. It goes like 1, 10, 15, 2, 21, 4, 6. I have no idea what that means. I suspect, just looking at the colors of the ring, I suspect we got like big boom, little, like in here, big boom. Out here, little boom. And in between, medium boom. So, I don't know. But you know, red, I recognize red. Red usually means something. And yellow means a little less. So, but yellow is, you know, cutting into South Padre Island here. So there's people there. People will be watching from there. Then we get into green. Green usually means like things are okay. I don't know, but that's what I suspect. We have the 30-minute window today. But they are targeting the end of the window now for clarification. And as Lim says, super heavy propellant loading is underway. Yes, the booster is loading fuel. We're 35 minutes away from launch. SpaceX should actually be going live here shortly. Somebody update me in the comments if they start, and I'm just rambling away here. All I have to say is please launch. I know I'm so ready. So ready for this. I really want to see this launch today. Philip wants to know, did they officially get their launch license? Yes, they did officially get the launch license. So they're good to go on that. They actually, so they got the launch license for this launch, but the launch license issued covers the next launch as well, as long as they don't drastically change any of the flight parameters. That they'll be able to launch Flight 6 as well, with basically a complete redo of the exact same. If they do a complete redo of Flight 5 and just want to do it again, they already have a license to launch that too. So yes, they're good to go. It seems like maybe somebody fast-tracked that, because originally they were talking November, but now we are into early October at least. So somebody must have had something to say about that to try to speed them up a little bit. The good old FAA. Good question from our amazing moderator, Framrick. Thank you, Framrick, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Says, thanks for streaming, Tori. Do you think Starship will survive to splashdown? So if we remember, thinking back to Flight 4, Flight 4 had went into orbit just fine. Coast phase was good. And then we got a little bit flamey during re-entry. We had the little flap that survived, unbelievably survived re-entry. We had some burn through on one of the forward flaps. I should get my model out. Hold on, let's get a model. Let's demo. Hold on, I'm stuck in a cord. Let me go. There. I'm back. So if you recall, so there's a camera. The Starship comes in like, let's see, which way do I do this for the camera? Starship comes in belly first, this way. All right, and then as it comes in the atmosphere, you know, it kind of comes in a little bit more like that. See, you get the idea. There's a camera up top here that's mounted. It's like right on the side. At least on the last flight, I'm assuming it'll be on this flight as well. But it's up here, and it's viewing the. Let me get this up a little bit higher. It's viewing these forward flaps here, right? Because these kind of provide some control during the belly flop to try to keep it oriented in the correct direction. You know, they kind of tuck back a little bit here. They don't stick out completely flat. They tuck back just a little bit and kind of control the re-entry. But we had a little bit of burn through that happened like right here on the forward flap that started right on this edge back here and kind of progressed about, I don't know, it probably wasn't exactly halfway up, but it was pretty far. It was a pretty big hole. in the boost in this flap here by the end. We don't know what the other flap looked like, if it was just one flap or if it was both of those forward flaps that had issues. But yeah, we had some burn through there that kind of, you know, really took out this flap, but it survived enough to keep control of the vehicle and made it all the way back to splashdown. And so as it comes down, it falls. Let's see. It falls this way, and then right before landing, the engines kick on. That gives us some horizontal thrust, and these flaps tuck in real tight like this. Or actually, I think they come out first, and then they tuck it. Ah! Broke it. It's not what it looks like. And then it comes down horizontal like this. But that flap that had the burn through was still functioning, which was crazy as well. So anyways, Nita says, be careful, don't break it again. Too late. Anyways, going back to Framrick's question, do you think the Starship will survive to splashdown? I think Starship will survive. I think we will have I think, especially after how far we made it last time, I think that we might actually see it successful all the way to the end this time with no flaminess on the flap or anything. I think the Starship itself will be completely successful. Let's see. Everybody's telling me that SpaceX is live. So let's find them in my mass of windows here. How many tabs can we open at once? Let's see. There it is. Okay. There we go. All right. So there it is. We'll keep this up for a minute. I'm going to keep chatting just for a minute. They are live. We can see. We'll go back to, how about pick a view, any view? How about this view right here? We'll go to this view here because everybody wants to see the rocket. Of course. Let's see. Oh, many new I missed Phillips updating us. He said they have many new camera views today. That's awesome. That's one thing I love about SpaceX. Like, they show us so many camera views. It is just awesome. It is amazing. Can't wait here. Let's see. I need to update my timeline because it's off by just a tiny bit here. Because we're actually 27 or about like 30 seconds off or so. Let's see. Maybe even a little less than that. Let me get this lined up perfectly. I think it's more like this. There we go. So now we got an accurate time. We're synced up with SpaceX. Admiral Ender over on Twitch said, where is the Starship minigame on the SpaceX website? It's starshipthegame.spacex.com. Starshipthegame.spacex.com if you want to play the little minigame. All right, let's listen into SpaceX for a minute because I do want to hear some of this myself.
Mars transfer window opens in 2 years towards the end of 2026.
Yeah, lining up a launch to Mars is similar to how we launched to the International Space Station, where we time launches to match the station's orbit. If we didn't do this, we'd need more propellant and more time to get there.
Exactly. So the first opportunity that we have to fly Starships to Mars, we plan on doing it. These first flights to Mars will be uncrewed and will test the reliability of landing intact. If those landings go well, the first crewed flights will follow soon after.
So it's safe to say it's all happening, and flights like today's are what's going to get us there. Not only have we made several improvements to the Starship flying today based on what we've learned from our last flight, including extensive upgrades to Starship's hardware and software, we've also made improvements to the launch tower and catch mechanisms.
And if you've noticed in some of the live views this morning, our teams have completed stacking the second launch tower, which will be coming online next year. Having 2 operational launch towers paired with ships and boosters rolling off the line in our new Star Factory will allow us to increase our flight cadence and test even more rapidly. And just a few miles away from the 2 towers, things are moving really fast at the heart of Starbase. Star Factory is rapidly coming online, with production teams already using the space as construction continues. The 1 million square foot Star Factory brings many parts of the manufacturing process under one roof for the first time, enabling moving as much system integration work as possible earlier in the build process, with the goal of eventually producing hundreds of Starships a year.
That's crazy. It's such an impressive building. So, for example, teams can assemble an entire nose cone structure of a ship into a single piece and work on its internal systems all in one place. So if you're working on Starship and you have a question about the steps that you're working that happen before or after yours, instead of having to leave the building and go and find the person or the team with the answer, or waste time sending an email and waiting for their response, odds are you're right next to that person or team, and now you're working right alongside them, so you don't have to wait for a response.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it a lot more efficient and faster to communicate. So not only are we rapidly iterating on these spacecraft themselves, but we're also innovating the way that they're made.
It's almost too much to keep up with.
We're also posting updates on our account on X if you can't keep up. That'll help you. So if you don't already, make sure that you follow us at SpaceX on X. And I have a feeling it's going to get pretty busy.
Oh, that is definitely an understatement.
And it's definitely going to be very exciting today. So with that, let's meet today's Starship on the pad. Starship features 2 major parts: the ship, which has 6 Raptor engines, and the Super Heavy booster, which has 33 Raptor engines. The current iteration of Starship is essentially an experimental vehicle flying for development. With a few planned upgrades, Starship will have 3 times the thrust of Saturn V, plus the added benefit of full reusability. Starship 2 will be capable of carrying more than 100 tons to orbit, and Starship 3 will be able to lift more than 200 tons to orbit. The amount of mass we're able to launch per rocket is crucial to creating a self-sustaining city on Mars.
Now, to get a sense of how big Starship is, let's start.
All right, while they're talking a little bit, I just want to grab a couple of comments here, and
over our average human is the length of the Millennium.
we can kind of get an idea of they're showing some of the scale here of Starship, but saw a couple of questions come through. Carol wants to know, does the Starship have new flap positions to mitigate the burn through? Well, we don't know exactly what they did to mitigate burn through. I don't really think that it has new flap positions, because flap positions, like the position of the flap, is really needed for orientation of the vehicle. So I suspect what they did most, look at this view. This is so cool. This is the engines of the bottom of the Super Heavy booster. Like, look at all those engines. Crazy. I suspect they just worked on the heat shield a little bit to kind of make sure they're efficiently deflecting the plasma areas, or the plasma in the areas where it's highly concentrated and basically destroyed the previous heat tiles. So I bet they just did some heat shielding work in those specific areas, because it really started from a very small area. And so the problem is, when it starts in a small area like that, it can turn into a big area pretty quickly. Surprisingly, shockingly, it didn't turn into like the entire vehicle, which often happens if you get some burn through. But yeah, it really just started in a tiny area. So I don't really think they probably didn't have to do much on the heat shield. Like, it looked worse than it was, but it probably just started in a tiny area, and they just needed to focus on that little bit of a hot spot there.
Hopefully a little more intact this time around. And In between our first and second stages is our hot stage, which we last saw in action on flights 2, 3, and 4. Speaking of, let's take a trip back in time and talk about that last flight. On June 6th,
let's see the last
Starship
flight.
successfully lifted off at 7:50 a.m. Central Time from Starbase, Texas.
This is flight 4.
Cleared the launch tower and went on to accomplish several major milestones and firsts. As you can see there, Super Heavy booster lifted off successfully and completed a full duration ascent burn. I love the view of the sound waves there. Following separation, Super Heavy booster successfully completed its flip maneuver, boost back burn as well to send it toward the splashdown zone, and it also jettisoned the hot stage adapter, as you can see there. We don't have to jettison that adapter in future iterations because it'll be a different design. Now, as you can see here, the booster is returning back to Earth using those hypersonic grid fins to steer it towards a precise landing in the Gulf of Mexico. The footage that we have coming up here, there it is from the buoy. I still remember seeing this on X for the first time, and it was so incredible to see that booster coming down, ending its flight with a soft splashdown 7 minutes and 24 seconds into the flight, and the crowd went wild.
And so did we. Starship's 6th second stage Raptor engine successfully powered the vehicle to space and placed it on a trajectory that would re-enter less than 1 orbit later over the Indian Ocean. And following a coast
talk
base
about
in
the burn
space,
through it all?
Starship re-entered the Earth's atmosphere, successfully
There it
making it
is.
through the phases of peak heating and max aerodynamic pressure, and
somewhat
demonstrating
successful.
the ability to control the vehicle using its flaps while descending through the atmosphere at hypersonic speeds. And of course, Starlink on Starship
bit of burn
once
through there,
again
yeah.
enabled real-time telemetry and live high-definition video
There's that
throughout
big hole.
every phase of entry, with external cameras providing views all the way to the flight's conclusion.
Flight 4 ended with Starship, with, again, the crowd going bonkers, with Starship igniting its 3 center Raptor engines and executing the first flip maneuver and landing burn that we had seen since our high-altitude campaign. And that was followed by a soft splashdown of the ship in the Indian Ocean 1 hour and 6 minutes later.
And we were all glued to the monitors, watching the little flap that could the whole way down. Seeing the landing burn and splashdown was an incredible moment for the entire SpaceX team, and we'll be looking out for many more of these incredible moments today.
All right, so...
Yeah, they kind of breezed over the flap and the burn through event there. They didn't really
catching the booster
didn't
back
talk
at the
too much about that, but that's kind of a that was kind of a big deal. But yeah, I'm thinking that they've solved that for this time around. So we've got this time around we'll have pretty much the same idea. We should see roughly the same thing. The difference is going to be, though, is that booster after separation is going to hopefully come all the way back to the landing site for the catch attempt. I love the animation showing the Mechzilla catching the booster. So the way that'll work, in case you missed the comments about it earlier, is that the ground needs to send a manual command to the vehicle no later than the end of the boost back burn to give it the go to land at the launch site. By default, it will land in the ocean unless it receives that command from the ground that says it's go for the catch attempt. So I love Carol says, it's a funny comment, actually. Carol says they talked about the flap burn through as much as actors from Star Wars talk about the Star Wars Christmas special. This is kind of a funny comment. Yeah, they kind of breezed over that a little bit. They did mention it, so they didn't completely leave it out. But they didn't really talk about how dramatic that was. That was really the talk of the town for the last one, was the burn through and the little flap that made it, and that was kind of crazy. Oh, I forgot about this. Yeah, so Framrick mentioned, so this is a good point from Framrick. When, I forget who it was, maybe Carol, talked about flap positions. Maybe I misunderstood the question. I was thinking when you said flap positions, I forgot about this. When you said flat positions, I thought you meant flat positions like this way positions. But Framerick is right. The next version of the Starship has the forward flaps moved more leeward. They did move them, the entire flap assembly, up on the vehicle a little bit in the next version of Starship. So I did forget about that. I was thinking when you asked the question about did they change the Starship position, I thought you meant like did they change like how much it'll flap like this, you know, if it'll flap more or flap less. Maybe I misunderstood the question. It's a good point from Framerick, though. Thank you for the clarification on that. She's getting icy. Yeah, we're getting there. We're filling up. I love that, like, when it does that, they're not showing it right now, but you get that, like, blanket of I don't know, that fog that covers the ground there. It's very cool looking. There you go. Yeah, Carol said, yeah, that's what I was meaning. Yeah, I misunderstood your question about the change in position. Framerick says, allegedly, the hot staging ring will splash down about 1 mile from the coast. That's interesting. I hadn't heard about that, but that's pretty close. Pretty close to the coast. I don't know. So the interesting thing is, I haven't seen. I mean, I've been struggling trying to keep up with a lot of what's happening lately because I got a million things going on. But I haven't seen. I don't know exactly where. Like, so if it doesn't land at the launch site, I don't know exactly where in the ocean that splashdown is going to be, but I don't think it's too far off. I think it'll be more than 1 mile that the booster would land in the ocean, but I don't know. Does anybody know the answer to that? Like where in the ocean the booster will splash? If it does not do the catch attempt, how far offshore will the landing be? I mean, I imagine it'll be like 1 mile seems pretty close for that. But I imagine it'll, there you go. Framerick says, I think it's a few miles offshore. Assuming you're talking about that's for the booster. Wild West Dan says, in the water. Yeah. In the water, I know. But Philip says, probably the same spot it did last time. I guess you're probably right. I would think that's probably makes sense. Because they did the boost back burn last time and kind of simulated that. So I imagine they would just keep that same sort of trajectory. That would kind of be the backup trajectory. Unless they go for that catch attempt.
As you've heard us say, Starship and Super Heavy are
All right, let's get back to
rapidly reused, which is why
SpaceX. We're getting close, though.
developed a novel
13
way
minutes
of
away.
returning the vehicles that leverages the same hardware we use for stacking ahead of flight.
Right now, when we recover our Falcon boosters, they either return to a separate landing zone on land or to a drone ship in the ocean, both of which require time to transport the vehicle back to the launch site. In order for us to achieve truly rapid reusability, we need a quicker turnaround. And you can't get much faster than returning the launch vehicle right back to the launch site where it needs to be in order to launch again.
For today's booster catch attempt, while there are thousands of criteria that need to be met, there are 3 primary gates that will be in play. In order to proceed, automated checks have to indicate we have a healthy booster and a healthy tower, and the flight director must issue a manual command, which is informed by manual checks from the flight control team. If this command is not sent prior to the completion of the boost back burn, or if automated health checks show unacceptable conditions with Super Heavy or the tower, the booster will default to a trajectory that takes it to a landing burn and soft splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico.
Now, thinking to the future when we're operational, after a booster returns to the launch tower, it will be inspected and reloaded with propellants and then ready to launch another ship to orbit. For today's test, however, we're only going to attempt the catch, like Jesse said, if everything on the booster and tower checks out after launch. And of course, we will let you know as soon as we know if it's a go. And we're going to be listening very keenly for that call out. Now, as always, we accept no compromises when it comes to the safety of the public and our team. So to that end, the area all around the pad and the flight path are cleared well in advance.
Exactly. A lot of things have to go right in order to line up the booster catch. So don't be surprised if we don't attempt the catch today. Either way, today's flight will generate data that will continue to inform our future flights and help us get to that operational cadence.
Yeah. Oh, you can't forget what else it will generate.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I mean, I was going to say a sonic boom.
Oh, I was going to say excitement, but that's a really good reminder.
Now, if we do make it to a catch attempt today, Super Heavy may generate a sonic boom upon its return. And that's basically a brief thunder-like noise that we hear when an aircraft or other object travels faster than the speed of sound. Anyone that has been in the area for a Falcon 9 land landing in Florida or California, or even some space shuttle landings, may have heard one of these.
Generally, the only impact in those surrounding areas of a sonic boom is the brief noise, with variables like weather and distance impacting if or how the sonic boom is heard. Here's a brief look at how these sonic booms look and sound on Falcon.
All right, I got to turn this down because I got the music going. I was just trying to update my timeline here, make sure that I got everything up to date with our new catch attempt. I actually have most of it in here because we did the booster landing the last time, and we just didn't do the catch attempt. I really have most of it in here already. So it's just a couple changes in the timing by a few seconds. Nothing crazy. For the most part, everything is still the same. But it is interesting to see that that some things have changed. You know, some things have adjusted by a couple seconds. Like this time around, they've got MECO listed about 8 seconds earlier, but hot staging is only 2 seconds earlier. So it looks like they've increased the amount of time between MECO and hot staging by a couple of seconds, which is kind of interesting. But most things are about the same here. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, what those decision points are. But we'll see what happens here. Let me just save this new timeline here. Make sure that I got it up to date here. So there, our events list should be good to go. So we do have fueling underway. We are only 8 minutes away from this launch attempt. They're still pushing forward. Haven't heard anything different at this point. Now remember, they only have a 30-minute window. We're currently targeting 7:25 Central Time or 8:25 a.m. Eastern Time, which is almost the end of the launch window. The launch window is 7:30 Central Time or 8:30 Eastern Time. So they're only 5 minutes towards the end of the launch, or from the end of the launch window. So if something has to change, I mean, they could potentially hold the count for up to 5 minutes, but they don't have much time to play with at this point. So they may need to scrub. Hopefully not. But weather is looking great, so really no concerns about weather today. It would really just be kind of vehicle readiness. We could have like wayward planes or wayward boats or something like that that are that are in the way. Let's hope nobody's does anything like that. We don't want any of that.
Is that range clear? Again, we have to make sure.
Range clear. They're just talking about. Here we can see they got a view of how much we've got for fueling in the rocket already. We're at 91% on the methane in Starship. We're at 87% methane in the booster. So we're almost completely fueled. Winds are only 5 kilometers per hour. Temperature currently 76 degrees Fahrenheit in Boca Chica, Texas. You're going to have to do your own conversion, but weather is go, range is go, vehicle is go. So we got all green across the board, which is great. Great news. 6 minutes to go.
Those are going to be used for its landing burn. And again, we're going to be closing out all of the prop load at about T-minus 3 minutes, 20 seconds for the ship, and then just 30 seconds later for booster. One kind of cool thing to talk about, so the folks in launch control behind me, after liftoff, they're going to have some pretty special tasks today if we're going to go through with the catch. They're going to be doing some really detailed inspections just visually of all of the different tower systems, a lot of those things that we upgraded, just to make sure that we are in the right posture to actually proceed with the catch. So they'll be working kind of fast and furious behind the scenes to inform the flight director's manual command to send the booster back. So if we hear that command being sent, that's going to be just the roof's going to come off. That's going to be a really exciting moment. So otherwise, if we don't go today, as you guys talked about, there is a chance, and if we don't send the booster back, we'll do a landing burn and a splashdown in the Gulf, and then that's just another landing burn to gather more data, learn more lessons from, and then we'll come back and try the catch again on the next one. But as of right now, we're coming up on 5 minutes. There is a chance that we'll hold or extend into the end of our window, so don't be surprised if that ends up happening. But if those boats do get out of the way, we are just about 5 minutes away from launch. So I'll check back in just a moment, but back over to you, Kate and Jesse.
All right. Well, that's a little bit frustrating. So there are some boats that are in the range that are currently violating the NOTMAR and the Coast Guard restrictions. So they need to clear those boats out of the range. Right now they're still clearing a couple of boats, so hopefully they can do that here in the next 5 minutes. That's frustrating. So gotta clear some boats out of the range. Could you please just get the out of the way? So yeah, that's hopefully they can do that. But one thing that they did say that I thought was really interesting is, and I didn't really think about this. So after like the vehicle launches and you get all this, you got tons of sound and vibrations and flaminess and fire and like all this stuff going on during launch, like that can damage the launch tower. And sometimes we forget about that, and sometimes they need to do refurbishments at a launch tower after a rocket launch. And so it's kind of important for the launch tower to be super resilient to the launch process. And now remember, this is the most powerful rocket ever built. So like that launch tower needs to be solid. And after launch, they have crews they have basically like the engineers are going to be looking over the tower. Like I'm assuming they're looking at camera views. They're not going to actually like run to the tower and take a look at it and then run out of there. But they're going to be kind of inspecting the tower to make sure that things are okay, make sure all the systems are online, make sure nothing really got damaged too much. And then they have to inform the flight director. Then the flight director has to give the go for the catch attempt. Then they got to send that manual command. Like all that has to happen within 6 minutes after launch. So it is. It's probably a pretty quick.
All right, so we're coming up on 2 minutes 30 seconds away from launch. We were hearing like there was a pretty good chance we were going to hold at T-minus 40 seconds, but surprise, now it sounds like we might not be. So we are just a little over 2 minutes away, so a couple more things going to be happening. We did just close out our propellant load on the ship and the booster, so 10 million pounds of propellant on that vehicle on the pad here at Starbase, getting ready to go. We're going to start clearing out all of the lines that are basically pushing all of that propellant to the vehicles. Those get cleaned out or cleared out on the ground before we lift off. We're doing some final checks on the vehicle, the thrust vector control that we're going to use to steer it, as well as the guidance system doing its final alignment, just a lot of our final checkouts. But We are starting to hear that it looks like the range is going to be clear at our liftoff time of 7:25 a.m. Central, 12:25 UTC.
Space Lobster Nation, this is Space Lobster Control. Give me a go, no go in chat for Starship Flight 5. Let's do it.
Range clear is the only thing that's been potentially poking at our launch.
Sorry, had to get that in.
I'm going to start to quiet down.
We got to poll. We got to poll the comments. Make sure you are all go.
Right now,
Look at, they're all coming in.
away from liftoff.
Oh, something happened. Did they clear the range? Here we are. We're T-4. Oh my goodness, we're coming. Oh geez, we're coming up on it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Flight director polling.
Flight directors go for launch.
Woo, we're going, baby. Oh, let's do it. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Come on.
Best words you could possibly hear 20 seconds away from liftoff.
Oh my goodness.
T-5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Is it going?
We have liftoff. Vehicles pitching downrange.
Oh, here we go.
Booster after chamber pressure nominal.
"30 seconds into the flight,
here
the
we go.
rumble's just starting to reach us here at launch control.
All engines are running. We got all engines up. Nothing's out so far.
Booster and ship,
That
avionics
is the
power,
sound
telemetry
of
nominal.
33 Raptor engines.
Max Q.
Now pass through the maximum aerodynamic pressure, the most stress the vehicle's going to see on the way uphill. All right, our next major milestone coming up, it's going to be hot staging. We're going to see the engines ignite on ship to push it away from the booster.
Oh, all engines are still running, which is great. We had lost engines on Flight 4. A couple of the engines went out. Right now, all engines are running.
All right, so hot staging is going to be the next thing coming up. First, we're going to see the booster's engines start to shut down. All but 3.
God, they make me nervous when they start.
We're going to do what's called most engines cut off instead of main engine cut off, because 3 are going to keep going. And then we're going to see the engines on ship ignite.
Man, they make me nervous when they start oohing and on. I'm like, is that good?
Right now, the tower team is doing their go, no go.
Remember, they only have about 5 minutes to do that go, no go for the tower for the catch attempt.
And we might hear some really good words soon, too. All right.
Well, he's hearing stuff in the background. I think we might get a go. We might get the go
You can
for the
still
catch
see it
attempt.
up behind me. That is one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Booster
Coming up
cutoff.
on hot staging next.
Hot staging.
Ship engine
There's
startup.
most engines cut off.
Stage separation.
Yes.
Booster
Stage
separation.
separation,
Startup.
hot stage separation confirmed.
Oh my goodness.
Ship under its own power. I'm seeing 6 out of 6 Raptors lit. Hopefully I got a booster on the way back to me. I'm going to send it to you guys in Hawthorne.
Oh man, that was absolutely incredible. I loved how the crowd
Chamber pressure is nominal.
here in Hawthorne all went ooh at that first view of the blue flames from the booster. As you can see there, First stage currently performing, or excuse me, is now making its way back to the launch site. Again, we are...
Ship avionics power and telemetry nominal.
The booster and the tower are both performing automated checks to make sure we are go for the booster to return to the launch pad for that catch. And once those are complete, the flight director...
Booster, boost back burn, shutdown. Flight director is go for booster return.
And we did hear that the tower is go for catch, so that was one of the big criteria we were looking for.
Oh boy, the towers go for the catch attempt.
This view
We'll
here,
wait to hear that the go for catch has been sent.
beautiful view here from the ship.
And so exciting to hear that we got a go for booster catch. That means it's going to be a really exciting morning. Again, the booster is making its way back towards now land in order to make that catch attempt in the tower.
Look at that. What is that? Is that just
So incredible
cold
to
gas
see
or
these views.
hot gas
You can see
thrusters?
the ship
cold
on the
gas thrusters?
right-hand side of your screen. All 6 Raptor engines are under full
Look at that,
power.
Amazing.
Once again, the ship, or excuse me, the
Oh my
booster is
goodness.
making its way back to
Oh
the
my
launch site.
goodness.
We are going to try and catch it using the chopsticks on the launch tower, the exact same tower that it just launched from just, wow, 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and the booster.
Starship on nominal
Guys,
trajectory.
I can confirm the command was sent
Oh
for the
boy.
booster to come back.
Oh
That is
boy.
So I'm
incredible
looking
news.
up right now.
Oh boy.
It's pretty much right overhead of us, and we can see it starting to come down.
Oh my. We're going for it.
I can't wait
They're
for us to
going
hear
for
the
it.
sonic
Here we
boom
go.
through Dan's mic.
Right.
That is going to be incredible. It was so cool to hear the liftoff. And so once again, it's successful on-time liftoff of Starship Flight 5. The ship has separated from the booster. The booster is there on your screen. It is making its way back to the launch site. We are going to attempt the catch using the chopsticks. We did hear the confirmation that the command was sent to the tower. We are go for catch.
We're 1 minute away from the actual catch
And in
attempt.
order to-
It's
Guys,
coming
we should
back.
just be about
Here we go.
30 seconds away from our landing burn. It's going to happen in 3 phases. We're going to land 13 engines, burn off all of that velocity. Oh, we can see it coming down through the plume.
Oh, here. Look at this. Oh my goodness.
Booster coming in hot
Oh my
for
goodness.
booster catch.
It is screaming in.
That's 13 of those Raptor engines, and this view is incredible right now. You can see how fast this vehicle is moving
This
on
is
the left hand.
screaming. Oh! Oh, come on!
13 engines.
Ignited. We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can
Oh
see
my
those
goodness.
chopsticks now
Oh! Catch it! Oh, look out!
Booster landing burn, shutdown.
Make a go ahead, pop the booster.
This is absolutely insane. On the first ever attempt, we have successfully caught the Super Heavy booster back at the launch tower.
What an incredible view!
Are you kidding me?
Oh my!
Dan, I don't know about you, but we're losing our stuff up
Starship
here.
is terminal dead.
Guys, I'm sorry. Like, even in this day and age, what we just saw, that looked like magic. Oh, wow.
Dan,
Wow.
your view must have been insane. We are still going wild over here over this.
Folks, this is a day for the engineering history books. This is a live view
Oh my
of the Super
God.
Heavy booster as it has just been successfully caught back at the very same launch tower that it just came from. Dan, I love this. You are reflecting exactly what everybody else here in Hawthorne, except maybe a little bit more because you got to see it with your own eyes.
How was that?
Ship
We
landing is
got
cut
it.
off.
Well, I mean,
Oh my.
I can't even describe that. Oh, by the way, ship, main engine cut off, ship's in orbit, but I am like shaking right now. That was.
Yeah, this is not,
Yeah,
I mean,
let's
it's,
check in on ship.
it's hard to believe that.
Starship nominal orbit insertion.
All right, exciting news there. It's hard to believe that, booster isn't the only excitement that we have today. Just confirmation there, a gorgeous view of planet Earth behind the ship.
Yes, saved.
And it is now in the orbit that we expected it to. This is just an incredible day. Live views there as the booster vents, some pressures there. That is a live view from the top of the tower looking at the chopsticks.
I am still in disbelief. I'm trying to catch my tears just like the chopsticks caught the booster. It has been nonstop since liftoff.
Look at that camera view on the ship, though.
And we are all so excited about everything that's been happening so far this morning. With the booster having completed its job for today, we are going to take a short break for the next 30 minutes. We'll return back at T plus 40 minutes while the ship continues to coast before re-entry.
Oh, man. And as with previous flights, Starlink may actually enable us to talk with the ship through re-entry with no communication blackout. We, of course, are still testing Starlink during this phase of flight, so nothing is certain. But if we do have views, we'll be sure to bring those to you live.
Views or no views, we'll see you back here at T plus 40 minutes for coverage of Starship's re-entry, flip maneuver, landing burn, and splashdown.
Oh my goodness. That was insane. Oh my God. What? How did they? Oh my goodness. First of all, look at this camera view, by the way. This is an awesome camera view. I don't remember seeing that good of a camera view before, but holy smokes. They caught it on the first try. I thought it was coming in. I don't have a booster, but the thing was coming in kind of sideways, and it looked like the bottom was gonna hit the tower. First of all, it was screaming in super fast. But then I thought it looked like the bottom was gonna touch the tower. And I thought it was gonna clink off the tower. That's kind of what I was envisioning in my head, is that it was gonna come down and not be precise and bounce itself off the tower or the chopsticks or something. But it landed perfectly. It landed perfectly. And it's just sitting there. Now part of me is now what? Now what do they do? I'm sure they have a plan, but it's I did not expect that to work perfectly. Look at it's just sitting there. They just caught an orbital class booster with a set of chopsticks. Oh. I don't know. So a couple people have asked. There's a lot of venting going on. The venting is normal. That's to depressurize the vehicle. So a lot of venting happening. There was a little bit of flaminess on the booster, some burning that was happening. I don't know if that's excess propellant or if that's off nominal. I'm not sure. It looks like everything's okay, but there was a little bit of burning that was happening near the engines. Might have just been excess propellant or something. It's possible that maybe there's a propellant line leak that got, but doesn't look like anything major concern. That might also be on purpose, but Red Scorpion says replay. Yes, we are definitely going to replay that. I need to watch that again for sure. That was That was crazy. Like, I don't need, let's go back and watch. How do I turn my, I got to turn my, let's turn my replay text on here. How do I don't know how to do this on, oh, can I not replay on, can I not replay on Twitter live streams? See, this is why they should go back to YouTube. Am I not able to replay? Well, fortunately, not on X you can't. Well, fortunately for you, I recorded this, so I can replay. Let's see. Give me 1 second here. I just have to... Let me get the recording up. Fortunately, I had the foresight to press record, and somewhere in here, I have a, oh, you replay on your own live stream? Yeah, I could do that as well. I also have, oh, it's still processing. Well, I could just replay it on my own live stream as well. Do I not have this? Did that one? Nope, that's not it. Where is my recording? Okay, I don't know where my recording went. Is this it? Ah, there it is. Hold on. Bear with me. Trying to... Need to go... Full screen. Get rid of the toolbar. Where'd it go? Well, this is not working. I'll just replay my own live stream. How's that? There's more than one way to do this. Okay, let's go back. Let's see. So, here we are. Oh, you guys can't see this. We'll go back to this view over here. Here's double Tory. Get both of us here. All right, there we go. All right, let's go back. We got to see this again. This was crazy. So here, I'm not going to turn the volume up, because, or maybe I'll turn the volume up a little bit. But this, so you can see it coming through the clouds here. This was pretty crazy. Let's turn on the music. Like, let's go. This is a replay here. Like, first of all, like, you can see the speed as it's coming back. Still going 2,000 kilometers per hour, and it's only 5 kilometers up in altitude. Like, it's, we're 2 kilometers up. It's still going 1,200 kilometers per hour. We get full, all engines ignite. Then we go down to just the 3 center engines. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, like this, when this started coming in sideways like this. So at first I was like, oh boy, this is not good. And then when it did this, I was like, oh no, it's going to clink off. The bottom is going to clink off the tower here. But we don't really have a good depth perception here as to how far away it is. But then it, yeah, look at, you can see the chopsticks close in on it. It just comes in, they close it up, And then boom. It gets it. Not boom, actually, but that's crazy. That is crazy. It just gently, let's back it up again. Like it just ever so gently lands on it, shuts down the engines. Like, oh, it's just amazing. This. Look at this thing come down. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to, I don't even know what to say other than just, I'm just watching this like over and over and over again. Like you see. That is insane. Insane. Just insane. That is, holy smokes. What in the world did we just watch? I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm just like, I'm still watching this over and over again. Like, how did this happen? Oh my goodness. That is nuts. So somebody asked, I thought for sure. I thought for sure that there was no way that it would happen perfectly on the first try. I thought at least something would go wrong. But that, oh, crazy. Graham says only 5 tries to get that. Remarkable. Yeah, this is only the 5th flight attempt. And they just landed. They just caught the thing with a tower. What? Oh my goodness. The chopsticks swivel as the booster came down to align with. They don't really swivel. They kind of just open and close, I think. So you can see them. You know, if we back it up here, you can see the chopsticks close into position. So they're open right now. And then as they come in, you can see right there, they close up as the booster comes in. And it just, oh, it looks like there's a little bit of a wobble, maybe right there on the arms. There's a little bit, if you look closely, there's a little bit of a wobble on the arms. Like maybe as it's like bumping against the side of the vehicle, right? There. It kind of bumps a little bit. So it looks like, I don't know, like it looks super smooth, but if you look carefully, you can kind of see the chopsticks kind of just wiggle a little bit. I don't know if that's just like wiggling from closing into position or if they're adjusting or if it's just kind of the booster touching against the sides of it. I'm not sure exactly. You know, we're kind of far away, so it's hard to tell. But I mean, like those chopsticks are pretty tight against the relatively speaking, they are tight against the vehicle. So as it comes in, like right here, you can kind of see the right there, wiggles again, wiggles a third time. That is just ridiculous. Yeah, we said it took 5 times to get here, but yeah, for clarification, this was just the first. This was the first capture attempt. So yeah, it just one time at this. Somebody asked, where was the question? Somebody asked if the hot staging ring, I can't find the question now, but somebody asked if the hot staging ring was jettisoned. Yes, the hot staging ring was jettisoned. We could actually see it. You could see it for quite a while as it's coming back. Right there, you can kind of go forward. They didn't really show us the actual jettison of the hot staging ring, but you can kind of see it. It's right here. This is the hot staging ring right here. You can see the hot staging ring jettisoned. So that is the hot staging ring that got jettisoned from the top of the booster right there. So yeah, that went off. So future versions of Starship, they're going to redesign the hot staging ring so that they don't have to do this, because they want to reuse everything. Right now, that hot staging ring is not reusable, so they can't. Here it is again. They can't reuse that, so they want to reuse everything. So they will change that in a future design. But yeah, we could see it. They did jettison the hot staging ring there. Oh my goodness. MZY, how many minutes will Starship do the water landing? Well, where are we? I don't even know where we are. We're 24 minutes after launch. So the actual Starship landing will be at about 1 hour and 6 minutes. Entry interface is 47 minutes, I think. So we got about half an hour to go. 20 minutes, actually 25 minutes to go before we start entry interface. And then about like 40 minutes until the actual touchdown. That was insane. Oh, let me go back to a couple of these comments I didn't get. I saw Graham send a super chat a little bit. Oh, right there it is. Okay. This was before the launch. Ready for the epicness. Lobster Nation forever. Thank you, Graham, for the super chat. Anita, one of our amazing moderators and channel member, said, "Let's go, SpaceX, but please don't hurt the hopper." Yeah, no injured hopper here. Perfectly successful. Crazy. Thetis Legacy, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. It's according to YouTube, this is the 3rd super chat you've given on a live stream. So thank you, Thetis, for the continued support. Rasik, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Randy Darrow became a new channel member. Thank you very much, Randy. Thanks for joining the channel, hanging out with us, and joining
the Space Lobster Nation.
And Mike, awesome. Happy not birthday. Oh, here we go again. I don't know where this started. It's not my birthday. Happy not birthday. Watching with my kid Sebastian. Hello, Sebastian. Hello, Mike. Awesome. You're both awesome. Thank you very much for the super chat there. So I wanted to make sure I got back and covered all those people that are supporting. Where did the hot staging ring land, and will they recover it? So it landed about 1 mile offshore, and I don't know if they'll recover it. I'm not sure. Maybe. I'm not. I don't know the answer to that. I don't. I suspect no, that they will not recover the hot staging ring. What will the next test be? I mean, I imagine the next test is to just do this again. At some point, they're going to have to land, they're going to need to land Starship on land. So they just landed the booster. And, yeah, I don't know. Then the question is, like, what do they do with this booster now? Like, are they going to disassemble it? Are they going to... I imagine... I can't imagine they're going to use it again, because they're innovating so much that there's already... there's probably already changes that they've incorporated into the next booster design, but yeah, they'll probably they get a chance to inspect it and see look at everything. Like, they could take it apart, tear it down. Like, this will be crazy. Framrick says they don't have to fish for the booster engines this time. Yep, that's true. Maybe they might be able to reuse those engines. Like, I don't even know. Adam House is gas it up, send it again. Yeah, right. Let's go again. Can we do it again today? I want to do that again. Would be cool to use it again, but without the ring, they can't. Well, yeah, so they would need, like, I mean, if they wanted to use this booster again, in theory, they would need a new hot staging ring. They're going to need another ship because the ship is going to land in the ocean, so they need another ship. But yeah, I imagine, right, as Framrick says, they're going to want to examine it closely, maybe in the Mega Bay. Yeah, I imagine they're going to want to tear this down and inspect everything because this is the first opportunity they'll have to kind of inspect. I mean, I guess they did pull part of the Booster 4 out of the water for inspection, but this will be the first time they can, like, really inspect it. Like, the thing is perfectly intact. They'll be able to inspect the whole thing. It's nuts. Oh, my goodness. Where do we stand here? We still got to remember. So this is live here. Oh, nope, this is not live. It's not live. All right. Ah, there we go. Now it's live. So we got some live view. We still got to remember that Starship is in orbit with these amazing views. It's nuts. What is it? Posh Potty Mouth over on Twitch wants to know what was the ground winds like? Does anyone know? At launch time, the ground winds were 5 kilometers per hour. So they were pretty light. Nothing crazy. But yeah, 5 kilometers per hour were the ground winds. Oh my goodness, I'm still like... Still trying to recover here. Angel said, oh, the camera this time is in the middle of the flap instead of at the base. Yeah, don't know. This is a different camera angle. So we were... see, now I can't tell which flap this is. Like, I'm pretty sure this looks pretty short. So I think this is the forward flap. Or a forward flap. And this time we see, like, we're like right in the middle of it looking straight down at it. So different camera view this time. Maybe additional camera view. I don't know. We'll see what kind of cameras they give us. But yeah. Eugene says, I'm still kind of stunned. Eugene, I'm with you. I don't even know. I feel like I don't even know how to continue this stream because I'm just sitting here going like, what just happened? What is this? Like, that was nuts. That word of the day, that was wild. Just wild. Right? As Theta said, word of the day, wild. Like, unreal. I can't even wrap my head around. Like, how did that? That's nuts. Can you imagine being on that team and just being like, it did it? Like, I don't know. Anyways, all right, let's continue. I'm a professional. I can do this. So we're 32 minutes now after launch. Let's go. We gotta go. Let's mute this here, so that we can go back to our live stream. and we can keep an eye on what's happening here. So 48 minutes is when Starship entry occurs. So we still got about another 15 minutes to go here. Let's see. What else did I miss here for comments-wise? Yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Sorry, just woke up. Can anybody catch me up on what's happened so far in the flight? Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you have missed a heck of a morning. I mean, you missed some craziness. Like, you're gonna want to watch this. This is one for the history books right here. That was crazy. Here we go, Ms. K. Canan. May or may not know who this is. Thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate the support there. Why is Red Scorpion says, why is she coming back sideways? That's a good question. I don't know. Did we do this before? I don't remember coming in sideways before, but if you look at the motion of the vehicle relative to Earth, you can see that we're kind of heading in, we're in a flap first position here. We're not going nose first. So hopefully she'll flip into the right position and we don't have like a thruster issue or anything like that. I mean, it looks pretty stable. It doesn't look like it's spinning out of control, but it does appear that we're coming in sideways at the moment. Also looks like a little bit of ice buildup here. I don't know if that's solid oxygen or what's going on, solidified oxygen down here or what's, that it is a vent port. Looks like maybe a liquid oxygen vent port. Oh, we're moving. Flaps moving. Flaps are moving. Flaps are moving. We've got some stuff breaking off here. Hopefully just like ice or something bouncing off the flaps. Like what? Okay. All right. Okay. Something's happening. It does still appear that we're coming in sideways, though. And I don't know why we're doing that. I don't think that's the way that's supposed to work. Oh, my goodness. There you go. Mr. Dominic GK just is one of our channel members said this was wild. Wild. It's a word of the day today. Just wild. Unbelievable. I can't even deal with it. Framrick, totally wild, absolutely insane. They move the camera or move the flap. Yeah, we definitely have a new camera view or camera angle here. We're in the middle of it instead of towards the aft end. Heather Knapp, wild. Indeed. I don't know if it's been said, but that was wild. I told you it was the word of the day today. Wild West Dan. Catch you up is definitely the right phrase to go with there. If you missed what happened, you should catch up. Because that's exactly what happened. Fritz 46, you've missed an interesting detail. Mama Nita, first time watcher, she completely lost it. We were both screaming. I'm pretty sure like my family is upstairs. My family is probably, I don't know, they may or may not be watching, but they probably hear me just screaming and probably wondering what in the world was happening. Oh no, Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I set my alarm for 7 p.m. instead of 7 a.m. Oops. Framrick, I was screaming and yelling and hugging my son. Yeah, I was screaming as well. Obviously, you guys could see all that, but... Wild West Dan says, I think it's very slowly rotating for landing. Yeah, I mean, it looks stable. It doesn't look out of control. But... yeah, it doesn't... it is coming in sideways. I don't know what's going. Somebody asked, where was this? I saw it somewhere. Oh, the Clipper Crows. The Clipped Crows 35 over on Twitch said, any space mice found? That's always the that's always the fun thing. Everybody, the conspiracy theorists always talk about the mouse that appears on the Falcon 9 stage. It's the most well-trained mouse in the world because it appears on every single Falcon 9 launch. And according to the conspiracy theorists, SpaceX is so stupid at faking their launches that they have a mouse on set. And that mouse happens on every launch and appears in the same general vicinity. And it's so stupid. I hate it. I mean, I laugh about it, but the space mouse, it's basically just like solidified oxygen that gets caught on one of the, on some of the piping of the engine bell. And it just gets stuck on the engine plumbing, and it's just a ball of solid oxygen that everybody said, see, it's a mouse, it's fake. Why? If they're so good that they can fake it, why would they not just edit out the mouse? If it's like, I hate that. Anyways, Mike, one of my favorite commenters, just because it's Mike. This is mind blowing. Definitely mind blowing. Thank you very much for the super chat. I can't believe it. Time Waster says the same thing. I can't believe it. They should employ a cat. Yes. Oh, it does appear now. Here you go. Angel says it looks like it's aligning for belly entry. Oh, SpaceX is back live here now. It does look like it has oriented itself into a belly first position here now.
So excited.
So I think we're good now.
From Starbase at 7:25 a.m. Central Time, the Super Heavy booster and ship had a successful separation, as well as a good boost back burn and good separation of the hot stage adapter. The Super Heavy booster then completed the landing burn with 13 Raptor engines igniting and slowing down the vehicle perfectly for Mechazilla to catch the Super Heavy booster for the first ever land recovery of the vehicle.
We still have, in about 48 minutes, the ship will re-enter. The flap, all the flaps that will today, not that could. The ship will re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. Now, as a reminder, one of the main goals of today's test flight is for the ship to make it through the extreme heat of re-entry and to do so in a controlled manner. We learned a lot about this phase during Flight 4 and, as a result, completely reworked the heat shield, but more on all that in just a minute. Now, re-entry is typically a portion of flight where we don't have communications with the spacecraft because re-entering, it'll be re-entering at about 8 kilometers per second, or about 5 miles per second of roughly orbital velocity. Now, those speeds, the spacecraft moving through the atmosphere results in friction and creates a plasma field around the vehicle. We saw this in action on Flight 4 thanks to Starlink, and wow, it was breathtaking. The blanket of plasma ends up distorting communication frequencies, so it's not uncommon to experience brief blackouts in communication, but hopefully that's not the case today.
And Kate, that's where Starlink has just kind of been just the unsung hero and the MVP of this test.
Yeah, so we're coming up on, we'll be coming up on entry interface here shortly. So generally, entry interface should be at about 48 minutes or so. So we're talking just another 6 minutes here. We're at 126 kilometers in altitude, currently going 26,619 kilometers per hour. Like that. We're coming in screaming, and we'll see that. We'll see that altitude go down. We're gonna see this. We'll see the speed go down eventually, but the atmosphere's got to help us out with that a little bit. Hopefully, slow us down. Hopefully everything, so they did say they reworked the heat shield. Hopefully everything survives and we get a success. Like, this could be, I don't know. I seem to think that this will be, I think this re-entry here is going to be pretty successful. I was expecting this re-entry to be great. And so if that's the case, like, this could be the first end-to-end successful mission.
Yeah, those
That's
flaps that you see there, that's
nuts.
what's helping.
Starship is in a good attitude for entry, approaching the entry interface.
Here we go. Good attitude for
Some
entry.
good call-outs there, preparing for re-entry for Starship. And again, that's what Dan was mentioning, those flaps on the vehicle. And if you've been watching us for the last few minutes, you could see that the flaps were rotating around and helping orient the vehicle as it prepares for the beginning of re-entry today.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's go back. We'll check out a couple others here. We've got a couple super chats that came in here. Robert, make sure I highlight it on the screen. Where is it? There's Roberts. Robert said they should install some sort of fire suppression up the tower to extinguish any post-landing catch fires, possibly liquid nitrogen since it's inert. Yeah, I wonder if they do have any sort of like fire extinguishing system on the tower. They might already have. I don't know. I'd be interested. That's Robert's 10th super chat on a live stream. Robert, thank you so much. 10 super chats. Thanks so much for your support of the channel. Really appreciate that. Tony Who just said wild. Wild. It's just crazy what we just saw. Tony's 3rd super chat on a live stream. Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much for the support.
The flat version and the curved version allow us to cover a lot more of the surface area of the vehicle. Again, we need to protect every portion of it, so even those curved surfaces, and especially the hinge area, if you watch Flight 4, is really what
we're getting a little bit of
protect. And yeah, Kate, these
we're
are
getting a little bit of glowing. We're hitting 100
With
kilometers in
18,000
altitude.
of them together,
We
they
see
add
some.
up
We're
to
seeing the.
10.5 tons, which is
We're seeing a little bit of glow on the right over here. We can see plasma start to generate. We're getting a little bit of entry heating now.
Nominal entry trajectory.
we can start to see that
Nominal entry trajectory, they said.
on the side. It's not quite full plasma yet, but we are starting to see that color indicate that the heat is building up on the heat shield.
Here we go.
Yeah, this is such a cool sight to see because you really never really have gotten to see this live before flight
4.
Yeah. And as Kate mentioned, it's getting a little more red, as you can see there on your screen. That means that
we're coming
heat
in.
is building up. But that's exactly what these heat shield tiles are there for, is to protect against this plasma and this really, really extreme heat that the vehicle is going to see for about the next 10 more minutes or so.
Yeah, so the ship will attempt to light the 3 center Raptor engines, and those are the engines that can gimbal or maneuver or point, and they do that to help flip the ship until the engines point down so that it can land using the Raptor's thrust in the ocean. So that will happen after we get through this re-entry period. Again, now starting to see, and we also might start to see the flaps actuate a little bit here as the vehicle controls its roll during re-entry. That was one of the main learning points from Flight 3, was the roll control didn't work quite as well as we wanted it to. We learned that we needed some redundancies, so we added more roll control thrusters, and we'll see those in action as well today, as that was a Flight 3 learning that worked better on Flight 4 and still enabling that same design today.
Yeah.
Starship has passed through 85 kilometers altitude. Flaps now have control of the vehicle.
Flaps are
Great
controlling.
call out, as Kate mentioned, the flaps are controlling the attitude of the vehicle. And I love these views because it looks so calm everything is relative, right? So relative to this camera on the ship, it looks so calm and smooth, but the vehicle is traveling extremely fast. You can see the speed on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen.
And speed's coming down now. We can see the atmosphere starting to do its work. Speed is coming down. Slowing down. Not slowing down much yet, but it is slowing down.
Instead of a more traditional means like parachutes. And so we will use the engines on this vehicle to help slow the vehicle down for a vertical landing.
Yeah. Now, entry is going to basically happen in 5 phases. The first is low drag that lasts for about 3 minutes. Next is high heating, and beginning when heating increases above the heat rate breakup limit. That lasts for about 10 minutes. We then have high dynamic pressure. Starship will continue to slow down and experience increased aerodynamic loads during that phase. And that will happen before reaching Mach 1.
That deceleration really...
Starship is approaching the peak heating phase of entry, remains on a nominal trajectory.
Approaching peak heating.
That was phase 2 that he just called out.
We're seeing a lot of streaking. I don't know what that streaking is. That makes me nervous, but that's all right. Everything looks okay at the moment. Approaching peak heating. You can see that speed is really... That deceleration is really starting to pick up now.
What an incredible view.
The colors are so amazing, and the colors actually also tell you a little bit about the temperature that the vehicle is seeing as well. So I think that's pretty cool.
I get nervous about that little bit of streaking because that seems like something burning. And like you worry that like that's burn through, you know, slight burn through happening or something. Oh, what's that? Okay, that's all right. We're okay. We're okay. Everything that happens, I'm like, oh, what's that?
The design in order to help enable
Starship is now experiencing peak heating, remains on a nominal entry trajectory.
Great news there that Starship is continuing along the path that we intended it to fly. You can keep track with how fast it's going and how high it is above Earth using the display that is there on the bottom right-hand side of your screen.
Is it not superheated plasma? Yeah, it is. It is superheated. I mean, we're at peak heating now. This is like, it is hot.
You guys kind of talked about, so what's called the static arrow. Those are kind of the poke out points on the flaps. Those get exposed to some pretty extreme heat environments, and so we added some additional, basically made it a lot more robust for the thermal protection there. And we learned not just from visuals and stuff like that. We had those missing tile tests on Flight 4 where we intentionally left some out, kept in some backup layers. They're called ablatives, which means they just gradually melt away to help dissipate the heat. And we've got an entire layer of ablative underneath the tiles on this Starship today. So even if you get a gap in a tile or a tile is broken, anything like that, we've got essentially backup options. And what we're really trying to do today is do an on-target landing. As we lost the flaps, you lose a lot of your control, and so we didn't land right on target last flight. This time we're trying to really nail the target within just tens of meters, and that'll just be a really huge step on feeling like we're closer to bringing a ship back. Obviously, there's a lot of work before we get there, but we just caught a booster. We're going to start looking real soon at when we can catch a ship.
So the view on your left is as a helicopter passes by Dan, bound at Starbase. The view on your left is a camera that's positioned near the nose of the ship, looking basically down toward the flap. The view on the right is looking perpendicular to the flap. So we're looking basically bird's eye view onto the flap on the left-hand side, and then a worm's eye view from the side with that view on the right.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Maverick just buzzed the tower. He might be coming back, so.
Now, these views brought to us by Starlink. It's incredible that we have this high definition capability. In fact, that view on the left.
Starship is now halfway through the peak heating phase of entry, remains on a good trajectory.
Halfway through peak heating. We're not
So great
seeing
news
any...
there, hearing that we're about halfway
No
through
indications of issues at the moment. No burn through. No. So far so good as far as I could tell.
10-ish minutes. And we did hear earlier that the flaps have control of the vehicle, so also good news there. You know, it is incredible that we've basically had views the entire time.
Right. Yeah.
Although,
Thanks to Starlink.
my memory did black out a little bit after booster catch, so I think we had views. But, you know, all through the coast phase, we had some beautiful views of planet Earth behind the ship as it was in its orbit.
Yeah, and I also do want to point out on your right-hand screen, we've got a more encompassed view of the flap. As we watched in Flight 4, the hinge area was the area where we got a little bit of that burn through. This view, this new camera view on the ship will help us be able to visually see more of what's happening in that area. And again, we have improved our heating tiles, and so hopefully we've protected the hinge a lot better this time.
Landing chill has started.
But again,
Landing
these
chill.
views are additional.
It's the chilling down the Starship engines, making sure they're ready for landing. A couple people have pointed out the there's a little bit of discoloration on the flap there. Hard to tell if that if that's like heat discoloration from stainless steel, or if that's just like a reflection from the body of the vehicle that we're seeing. I mean, it does kind of look like stainless steel discoloration. So it could be that it's discoloring from heating up a little bit. But also, you know, the thing is so shiny, it could just be like reflecting colors, but it might just, I mean, because there's like a clear line you can see. Like this, we got discoloration here, but not discoloration here. So I'm not sure what that's about. But it also kind of, I don't know, as it kind of progresses forward, like this kind of looks more like a reflection to me up here.
From planet Earth, and you'll see that number trend lower.
But yeah, we could have some stainless steel discoloration.
Continue through this reentry.
Yeah, this is going to go on for a little, actually a while longer. We have about 10 minutes or so, roughly, before we execute the landing, the ignition for the landing burn, starting with the landing flip. So we're making a controlled reentry. This is one of the primary objectives for Starship today, is to demonstrate.
So far, so good. We're down to speed, that deceleration really picking up here now. We're 19,800 kilometers per hour, 60 kilometers in altitude here, shown at the bottom right-hand corner.
And then as we start to really get lower, we're going to start seeing the atmosphere's effects start to take place, and that's when we'll be dropping our speed down closer to the speed of sound. You'll see the flaps start to maneuver. We were able to do a landing burn on Flight 4, which kind of caught all of us off guard. It was pretty incredible after seeing the flaps survive through.
We're seeing a lot of that right-hand screen there. We're getting a lot of bright orange, bright yellow colors there.
Splash down at a little bit of
I feel like that's a little bit different than before.
Instead of just kind of
could just be the new camera. But yeah, we're seeing some bright colors there, some bright orange, bright yellow streaking going on.
We're able to then get some additional video of it. Again, that's just more data, and everything we can see, everything we can get extra, like a couple extra seconds or minutes of data coming from the ship after
Starship has
splashdown.
passed through the peak heating phase of flight, approaching maximum entry dynamic pressure.
Done with peak heating.
We're through peak heating. Coming up is basically Max Q Part 2, where we're gonna.
Was this here before? I'm just noticing this like crinkling here.
We're still moving really
Was this here before? I didn't notice this before, but
enough that we're feeling.
oh, look at this. We see all
Hopefully we're gonna start
there are
feeling
at least 2-3 flaps. Can't tell what that top left picture is, but obviously the bottom two are two of the flaps.
The ship as it's making its way back down to Earth. And we did pass through peak heating and still got really good views throughout that whole period.
What is that top left camera? I cannot figure out what I'm looking at there.
On the vehicle.
All right, everybody's telling me that the crinkling has been there. Thank you very much. I just, like, I'm looking at it, and I was like, is that normal? I just noticed it.
Or views of the vehicle, but again.
Oh, I'm seeing some glow.
some live
What's
views
happening here?
that entire process there.
What's happening here? I'm seeing a little bit of glowingness right here.
We're coming up. We'll start
Is that burn through?
milestones in about 4 minutes or so.
Something burning through up there?
Down to like the transonic, the subsonic, when we're starting to move closer to and beneath the speed of sound.
Yeah, we're oh boy.
I mean, we're getting live views, we're getting live data.
This is starting to glow a little bit bright up here.
On this one today, where we left off some
We
missing.
might be getting some burn through again.
To
Maybe just a reflection. I don't know.
we also have.
But it did look like it was growing in size.
But you may have noticed we had some kind of silvery-looking tiles on Starship as well, and those were
I don't see it on this view,
pretty much standard tiles.
but we're only seeing 3.
Aluminum.
Oh, I'm seeing some glowing here too. Look at this. Uh-oh, that looks like it's burning through.
Where aluminum starts to melt.
Yeah, I think it's burning through again.
Where steel starts to lose its strength, not necessarily melt.
Oh, yep.
So if we
Oh, no, we're burning through again.
we know what our steel is going to be exposed to.
Yep, we're definitely getting burned through again.
59 minutes since launch. Should be coming up on transonic and everything in just about 3 minutes.
I mean, it seems better, but we're definitely getting burned through again. The question is,
Here we have coverage of all 4 flaps. We can see, so for those that perhaps didn't catch a glimpse of the vehicle before liftoff, there are 2 flaps at the forward end and 2 flaps at the aft end. The larger camera view that is there on the right-hand side of your screen, that is a view of one of the aft end or the bottom end flaps. We can start to see some heat buildup and peeking through on one of the flaps there in the top left-hand corner of your screen.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of burn through there. I mean, it seems better than last time, but it's definitely hot.
Once again, Starship now at T+1 hour and 9 seconds into its flight today, re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. Currently about 45 kilometers above the surface of the Earth.
We got some glowing over here too. What's going on here?
Soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean.
Maybe some burn through here as well. That's glowing.
Northwest-ish of Australia, and we are attempting to, as we did on Flight 4, perform a flip maneuver as well as
Starship is at maximum entry dynamic pressure, remains on a good trajectory.
There's Max Q. We're on a good trajectory. The question really is,
like Dan said earlier, this is basically
as we get some burn through, we may lose efficiency on that flap, and it could cause them not to hit their landing spot.
back through the Earth's
I think they were like 6 miles or 6 kilometers off last time. I think that's right. I'm trying to remember that off the top of my head.
Heat as a evidence of that friction buildup. The atmosphere is actually helping to slow the vehicle down. If you're watching the telemetry in the bottom right-hand side.
Yeah, look at our speed coming down. 6,000 kilometers per hour now. It's really decelerating. I think the heating is dissipating now. We're not quite as hot, so we might be through the...
Now the 4 flaps on the ship help steer the vehicle, and one of the main objectives for the ship today is to demonstrate controlled re-entry during this phase of flight, this re-entry phase.
We're down to 35 kilometers in altitude.
And we have 6
almost 4,000 kilometers per hour.
3 of them, the 3 sea-level engines. We will have that flip maneuver happen very close to touching down for splashdown. We'll do that flip maneuver, ignite those engines, slow the vehicle down immediately, and then hopefully have what we call a soft splashdown in the water. It's probably going to feel a little bit harder on the top of the surface of the water, but it'll look pretty gentle.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, we hope to have some more views, even of that phase of the flight. So fingers crossed that we can we can bring those to you. We are hoping to splash down softer than we did last time on Flight 4. Right now, Starship continuing to make its descent back to planet Earth.
Starship is at Mach 2, remains on a good trajectory.
Or Mach 2.
All right, great news there. That tells us that the vehicle is traveling twice is traveling twice the speed of sound. So we will then, the next call out.
Still there. Remember, we're landing over in northwest of Australia here, so that's why we're going into darkness here now.
And then we will hear another call out saying that it is subsonic, meaning going slower than the speed of sound.
Starship is transonic.
There it is. So at this
looks like it looks pretty much like the heating is over, which is good. Seems like the flaps mostly survived. Definitely saw some burn through, though.
Might be experiencing airflow faster than the speed of sound.
You see the flap moving, controlling.
The ship may be experiencing airflow.
Starship is in the subsonic belly flop.
Subsonic belly flop now.
The entire vehicle is traveling slower than the speed of sound, so subsonic. The crowd here at Mission Control Hawthorne also getting excited, just like us. We're awaiting a water landing. We are going to reignite the 3 engines to perform that flip maneuver, and we're basically about a minute and a half, away from the landing flip.
Yeah, the crowd's getting excited here as we get closer and closer to splashdown. Again, just about a minute away from the expected splashdown, so we should see a lot happening coming up here shortly. We're currently having a view of one of the flaps, and it is a little bit dark on your screen, but hopefully we'll get some good views of the ship as it makes that flip maneuver and touchdown for splashdown.
Yeah.
7 kilometers in altitude now.
We saw that speed drop like a rock. So we're doing a belly flip right now, or a belly flop right now. That's what's kind of, if you saw the high altitude campaign, that's the unique thing about how Starship comes back. So
5 kilometers.
We bled off pretty much all of the speed we're going to. We're essentially at terminal velocity.
Starship is at 5 kilometers altitude, remains on target.
On target. That's good.
5 to go, coming up soon.
4 to go. 3 kilometers. Still doing 380 kilometers per hour. 2 kilometers.
2 kilometers away.
Starship is on target, approaching landing burn startup.
1 kilometer.
So keep an eye on the bottom right-hand side of your screen as well. That will be the indicator when the Raptor engines ignite, if we are unable to see that illumination ourselves.
Comes landing burn.
Landing burn startup.
There's the flip.
View of the reflection of that landing burn.
There's the water.
You can see the water just behind the ship.
Starship has landed.
Soft touchdown.
An incredible view. I think it is safe to say we have a ship in the water.
Touchdown!
That is a live view
Oh.
of the ocean surface. What an incredible end to Starship's journey. A live view from a buoy that we had out at the landing zone.
An incredible view of ship landing just about on target as they were calling out.
That was amazing. And we were not intending to recover any of the ship's hardware, so that was the best ending that we could have hoped for.
Oh, that is pretty cool. I didn't know they were gonna have a buoy out there. I guess I should have expected that because they had a buoy out for the first stage booster last time. But that was pretty cool. So they must have hit. They must have landed on target because they had a buoy right there ready to take video of it.
Buoy's placed in a pretty specific spot. So, wow, what a day! I feel like that's what I get to say. What a day. I mean, everything started off today with that launch. We were able to lift off towards the end of our window, 7:25 a.m. Central Time.
That was cool.
33 out of 33 Raptors in the way uphill. Successful hot stage. Booster came back. We watched it come down right behind us. Watched it get caught. And that broke my brain for a while. I'm really happy we had coast for a bit, but First ever booster catch, major step on the way to rapid reusability, and ship just gave us one heck of a show, making it through a controlled reentry this time, flaps intact, made it down to the water. Hey, Starships were meant to fly, and it sure as hell flew today, so let's get ready for the next one.
Here's Elon.
They were meant to fly, and they were also meant to be caught by Mechazilla.
Yeah.
It's been such an incredible day today. Congratulations to our teammates and to everyone who supported the Starship program. And thank you to all of our future customers for your support. And we'll also like to thank the people of Cameron County, Texas, as well as the Coast Guard, the Federal Aviation Administration, the Government of Mexico, and the Australian Space Agency.
Now be sure to follow SpaceX on X for more updates on today's test flight and of course for future Starship news. Today was amazing, but the SpaceX action isn't over yet. Soon Falcon Heavy will launch NASA's Europa Clipper, and we're also going to be returning Dragon back to Earth with NASA's Crew 8 astronauts. So congratulations again to the SpaceX team. What an amazing launch and an even cooler catch. Thank you for watching, but we're going to leave you with an awesome recap of what has been the most epic day.
They're going to have some music. Okay, good. No music. Look at this. Look at this. Another different. Oh, I got to turn it down. They're putting some music up, but look at, they got the. Oh, a whole bunch of views of the booster coming in. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh my, look. Oh, you can definitely see it kind of the tower, the arms. We saw that wiggling a little bit. You could definitely see it like clamp down. I wasn't sure how hard it was going to like clamp down on, but it was pretty tight to the body of the booster there. Look at this. That's it. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at the little moonwalk. Like, these are the crazy things that SpaceX does that, like, you would never see another company. There's no other company that does this stuff with the moonwalking Godzilla going across the screen. Like, that's crazy. That's funny. Oh, what a day. What a day that was. Oh, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what to say. That was cool. I do want to see. Let me see. Let me go back to. I want to go back to my live stream. I want to see that view. Let's see. Let's go back to this camera view. So we had. Fast forward a little bit to our landing burn startup. Let's see. I'll put myself up here actually. So we had our landing burn startup. So a couple people confused. There was an explosion at the end. That's kind of on purpose. So the mission really is to do this soft splashdown, touch the water, engine cut off, and then the mission's over. At that point, the booster or the ship tips over, and that's when it blew up. So it is landed. Mission's over at this point. And then we see they had this little buoy cam right here. And then, boom, we get a big... Because remember, the vehicle's got to be pressurized to do that landing burn. And, you know, in the end, it's going to land on land. So, you know, we don't have to worry about it tipping over. But in this case, it lands on the water. There's nothing to keep it from tipping over. So it tips over as soon as it touches down. And, you know, because it's pressurized, it goes kaboom. So that was kind of interesting to see. Wasn't expecting to see that. Wasn't expecting a buoy cam. It looks like the buoy cam got hit by something, right? And boom, right there. You see something comes in. Boom, hits the buoy cam. Comes right down the center of the screen. Kind of looks like it hits it kind of hard. You can see all kinds of pieces of stuff flying everywhere. And then, I mean, the ship was never meant to be recoverable. They didn't recover the last one, so it just, you know, it's going to sink to the bottom of the ocean. But yeah, it looks like we had a pretty good success. Still some burn through. They're going to have to work on that a little more because we still saw some burn through on the flaps. Not nearly as bad as the last time around. I think like if we back up, let's see, we go back. Let's see if we can find where the burn through was. Yeah, so you can see it in that top left corner there. That looks like about as bad as it got. So it didn't, I mean, last time it kind of destroyed the, like, almost half of the flap. This time, like, most of the flap remained intact. It just kind of burned in towards the hinge points, or the hinge point there. Nothing too crazy this time around. So I would say much better. Still some work to do, but definitely much. Whoops. What happened here? No. It doesn't want to switch my camera view. What, this camera view? This camera. There we go. Okay. Definitely much better. Oh, gosh, that was nuts. That was crazy. So, again, so here, Andre Nunes has a good question here. No FAA investigation. IFT-6 is approved already. Yes, IFT-6 launch license is approved. An FAA investigation is only required if the vehicle goes outside of the planned events, right? So this still landed on target. We had the buoy camera. So it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Like, it landed, went where it was supposed to land. I don't think, like, an FAA investigation isn't required for this. They had some burn through, but the vehicle still remained under control, still hit its target. And, I think they're pretty much green light to do it again on Flight 6 if they want. They'd have... Flight 6 is approved to do the exact same mission again. If they want to change something, they'd have to get a new launch license, but they could do the exact same mission again. And it should already be approved. I imagine, like, if we get to, like, Flight 7 and they want to land Starship on land, I think at some point I had heard rumors that maybe they were talking with Australia to try to land Starship on land in Australia, just as like as a test run, because they're already landing pretty close to Australia in the water. So we could potentially see something like that, or we could see it try to come back to Boca Chica. I don't imagine they'll try that on the first try, but yeah, maybe they do. I don't know. Well, they don't really have any, I mean, now that I think about it, they don't really have any, like, infrastructure in Australia, so they probably have to come back and try it at Boca Chica, but let's see. If they add the Raptor relights, would that be a change to the license? I don't know what you mean by that. Explain. Need more information. That would be the fastest US-Australia flight ever. I mean, that was one of the things that, like, that SpaceX has, like, talked about as, like, one of the things that Starship could do is these, like, Earth-to-Earth transports, right? Like, you're 1 hour to get from Texas to Australia, hour and 5 minutes to go from Texas to Australia. Like, let's see what else we've got here before we wrap up for the day and I try to get my thoughts collected. I'm still... Starship does not need those flaps. Get rid of them. I disagree. Starship needs the flaps. That's how the vehicle remains under control during the whole re-entry phase and the belly flop phase is the flaps. They do need the flaps to keep it under control. What a day. It's not even 10 a.m. yet. I know, right? It was nuts. Let's see. Show the catch from the top of the tower again. Oh yeah, that's a good point. We should show that. Because I want to see that again. That one kind of caught me off guard here. Let's go back to this view. And let's see. So right at the end of their stream, they showed some of those highlight videos, and one of them was that very first one. This one right here. Look at this view right here. From the top of the tower, we can see the chopsticks come in. You can see the booster come in, and then a little bit of contact. That's actually the view that I wanted to see. And then it just kind of settles in. Like right here, it kind of stops and then settles in. Like that's actually really cool. I don't know. I haven't really looked that carefully at how closely this is, but if we watch this, you can see the booster here. You'll see contact made on the right side. So if we look at it already, you can see that the space right here between the catch arm and the space right here, this is bigger than this. So this right arm is going to come in a little closer. All right, so already you can see that we got a pretty big gap over here, less so over here. We get contact made right there. That's where earlier I was saying I could see the arm wiggle just a little bit. This is where it's wiggling because you get contact with the booster. And then the left side comes in. Looks like right there you get contact from the left side. And now it's like squeezing it. It's kind of, the booster is, it is kind of ricocheting off the tower arms there a little bit as it comes in. Then it lands on these little arms here, whatever this is. Oh, you can't see, my cursor's on the wrong screen. So whatever this is right here, you can see these. It lands on these things, catches it right here, and then those kind of like retract into place. Maybe to put the entire weight on the vehicle on instead of just on those little rails, to put it on the entire arm. Let's go back. Let's watch that again. Play it in slow-mo. Can I do playback speed 0.25? I love it. We get... All right, so here we go. Slow motion. Let's see. Big gap on this side. Small gap on this side. As it comes in, we're going to get contact here first. Right there. Contact made. Still got a little bit of a gap here. Boom. We got contact on the other side. It kind of ricochets a little bit of... There's a little bit of a back and forth wiggle there as it squeezes into place. Then it's going to land on these rails here. Right there. Landed on the rails. And then those rails kind of retract into place, it looks like. And then, yeah. Dunzo. Let's back it up. Let's watch again. We'll increase the playback speed. We'll go back to normal playback speed. I'm still going to pause it in certain places. Comes in. Contact. Contact. A little bit of a shimmy as it bounces back and forth. Lands on the rails. Then the rails retract. That's cool. Here's another view. As it comes in, we get to see the top of the booster. See that little shimmy there? Lands on the rails. That's cool. This is a better angle from this side because you could see from the other angle, like I thought it was going to hit the tower, but it really doesn't get as close as I thought it was. This angle right here, this is where I thought as it came in. When it did this, right here, I was like, oh no, it's going to hit the tower. But you could tell from the other angle that it's not really that close. And then they put in the moonwalking Godzilla. It's just hysterical and awesome. Well, my friends, that that is Starship Flight 5. Like, unbelievable. Lim's throwing in a little dig at, oh, that's not the one I meant to click on. I meant to click on this one. Lim throwing in a little dig at Blue Origin. Says, meanwhile, by the way, NS-27, New Shepard 27, hasn't launched yet. Bramrick said, if you watch the test of the chopsticks, the momentum and stop. If you watch the test of the chopsticks, the momentum and stops force the wiggle when shutting down. Philip Swanner said, so the side flame was actually coming out of the vent, it looks like. Yeah, and a pretty... that was... I'm still just mind blown. Well, I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up. I mean, this was just a mind-boggling morning that it was, I don't even know what to say on how to wrap this up, because the word of the day, that was wild, crazy. I wasn't sure if they were gonna launch. They launched it, then it was like, are we gonna get the booster catch? They did the catch, and then it was like, is it gonna be successful? It was crazy, just wild word of the day. That's all I got. That's all I can say. So, all right, well, I'm gonna wrap up and just try to like process what I just watched, because I feel like my brain is melted. I can't even process this. But anyways, consider joining our Discord, and we can all just talk about how wild it was. So jump over on Discord, overlookhorizon.com/Discord. And that's going to do it for me this morning. I'm going to go process this. See, I might have to lay down for a bit. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll be around again for another live stream soon. My name's Tori. This is Overlook Horizon. Have a good rest of your day. Watch that replay a couple more times. I'm definitely going to. I gotta go lay down, I think. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. Have a good day. We'll see you. Bye.